Hello students. Now let us start with group 17 elements. Group 17 elements are also known as halogens. It consists of fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine and tennessine. Out of this, fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine are non-metals. Astatine and tennessine, they are metals. Tennessine is a radioactive element. It is a man-made element. And its half-life time is of a few fraction of second, and that is why the properties of tennessine are not studied much. So when we are speaking about halogens, we'll just focus on fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine and astatine. Even astatine is radioactive to some extent. So till mostly to iodine only we study all the properties. Now let us see their position in the periodic table. As we said that it is 17th group element. It is just before the 18th group. 18th group are noble gas elements. So they require only one electron to complete their octet to get the noble gas configuration. So that is affecting much of its chemistry. Then if we see horizontally, then fluorine is in the second period, chlorine is in the third period and so on. Tennessine, it lies in the 7th period. Then let us see the general electronic configuration. General electronic configuration is Ns2Np5. Fluorine as such it will be 2s2 2p5, chlorine will be 3s2 3p5, 4s2 4p5, 5s2 5p5 and so on. Now if we see the oxidation state, the group oxidation state as we saw before, it will be 7. The total number of electrons present in the outermost shell. Here the outermost shell is N. So total number of electrons in the nth shell is 5 plus 2, that is 7. So group oxidation state will be 7. Then we also saw that 2 less group oxidation state also occurs. Now here we have a little bit different explanation. Here you can see that in fluorine it is 2s2 2px2 2py2 and 2pz1. This is the outermost or the valence shell electronic configuration. Now fluorine does not have any 2d. There is nothing such as 2d, and so therefore it can't make its electrons unpaired and expand its covalency. On the other hand, if we see the next element chlorine, it will have 3s2 3px1 3px2 3py2 and 3pz1. Now as there is an empty 3d and d has total 5 orbitals, so the electron can from 3py1 can get unpaired, become unpaired by moving one electron into 3d xy. So that there will be one electron here, one electron here. So in this case the oxidation state will be plus 3. Then again if one electron moves here, then it will become plus 5. And again one more electron if it moves, then it will become plus 7. Apart from this, again if it is forming dative bonds, it can have plus 4 also and plus 6 oxidation states also, because here there, as you can see, there are unpaired electron. So it can be dative possibilities that every element can form a coordinate covalent bond. So there can be a variety of oxidation states. And apart from this, -1 is a very common oxidation state of all the elements of the 17th group. Why -1? Because all these elements have high electronegativity. As we go from left to right in the period, the electronegativity increases and top to bottom it decreases. So according to this, fluorine is the most electronegative element, then chlorine, and then the electronegativity will decrease down. But as such, if we compare with the other group elements, these elements they will have the highest electronegativity. So they will have a common oxidation state of -1. +1 will be for elements other than fluorine. Fluorine will have mostly -1 oxidation state. It can't show any plus oxidation state because it is the most electronegative elements. Other elements they can show +1 or -1 or +3, +5, +7 oxidation states. We'll speak about more about the oxidation states in the further part of the topic. Now Let us go on to one by one each of these properties. Let us first look at the size of these elements. So the size in the period, in a particular period, the size is the smallest of every element. Like fluorine, in its second period, fluorine is of the smallest size. As we go from left to right in any period, the effective nuclear charge increases, and that is why the size will decrease. So fluorine is the smallest in the second period, chlorine is the smallest in the third period, bromine is the smallest in the fourth period. Again, top to bottom size is increasing, so fluorine will be the smallest in size. So this is all about the size. Then let us see ionization enthalpy. Ionization enthalpy is the energy required to remove 1 mole of electron from the gaseous atom in the ground state. So if we go from left to right, now size is decreasing, size decreases, so more energy will be required to remove that 1 electron. So ionization enthalpy, as we go from left to right, it will decrease. Ionization enthalpy decreases as we go from left to right. Same way for every period. Ionization enthalpy decreasing. Down the group the size is increasing. Now as the size will increase, the nucleus becomes far off from the outermost shell, and the energy required to remove that electron which is in the outermost shell will become less because of the increasing size. So as we go from top to bottom, ionization enthalpy decreases. As we go from left to right, the ionization enthalpy increases because the size is decreasing. Ionization enthalpy, it is directly related with the size. The next is electron gain enthalpy. Electron gain enthalpy is the energy released when 1 mole of electrons are taken by the atom. Now, when will the electron be taken more easily? When the size is small. Now these elements are the smallest in every period, so they will have the highest negative value of electron gain enthalpy. Means they can take or accept electron with very much ease because they are smallest in every period. As we go from top to bottom, the electron gain enthalpy value should become less negative because the size is increasing. So less energy will be released when electron enters, because as the size will increase, the ability of the nucleus to hold that extra electron which is coming inside will decrease. So it should become less negative. So down, electron gain enthalpy will become less negative. But there is an anomaly. There is a different kind of behavior we have seen in class 11 in fluorine and chlorine. Electron gain enthalpy, as we discussed just now, as we go from fluorine to chlorine, it should become less negative. But chlorine has a higher electron gain enthalpy as compared to fluorine. So the reason here is the fluorine atom is very small, smallest. And that is why when it will gain 1 electron, because of its very small size, the already existing electrons in the atom will try to repel that electron which is entering. And so as a result, due to the higher value of repulsion, it will not be able to gain that electron as easily as chlorine can do. Chlorine can do it more easily because its size is considerably bigger as compared to that of fluorine. So chlorine will accept more easily, and that is why the electron gain enthalpy value of chlorine is more negative as compared to that of fluorine. After that, as we go down, the electron gain enthalpy value becomes less negative, because then that effect is not so prominent. With the bigger size, then what will happen? Electron will not be gained that easily. So chlorine will have the highest value, then fluorine, then bromine, then iodine, and then acetylene. So I hope so. Electron gain enthalpy, this concept is also clear. Now the next is electronegativity. Electronegativity is a tendency to accept or to attract the electrons. So as the size is small, that tendency will be more. So the electronegativity will decrease down the group. Left to right, electronegativity increases because the size is decreasing. It means that fluorine is the most electronegative element. Other elements of this group are also electronegative elements, but fluorine is having the highest value of electronegativity. Then lastly, let us discuss about the bond dissociation enthalpy in the diatomic molecule. The general symbol for this group element is X, and they exist as diatomic molecules, that is X2. Like fluorine exists as F2, Cl is Cl2, Br is Br2. So the bond dissociation enthalpy between F and F bond, or Cl and Cl bond, or Br and Br bond, how should the trend be? As we go down in the group, the trend should be as the atom size is increasing, so the bond enthalpy value should decrease. The bond length will increase between the two atoms of the same type. So it means that if we see the normal general trend, it should be the bond between iodine and iodine should be broken with the ease, and it should require the highest amount of energy to break the fluorine-fluorine bond. But again children, here it is not so simple or not going accord as per the trend. But if we see, then chlorine can, the bond between fluorine and fluorine can break more easily than the bond between fluorine and fluorine. Again here the reason is the same, that the bond between fluorine and fluorine will suffer, the electrons will suffer more amount of repulsion because of the small size of fluorine. So the bond, the electrons which are pair of electrons which are there between the two fluorine atoms, they experience more repulsion and they are always ready to move apart. And that is why the energy required to break fluorine-fluorine bond is less as compared to that between chlorine and chlorine. Though the trend should be that chlorine-chlorine bond should break with more easily as compared to fluorine-fluorine, but it's not so. Fluorine-fluorine bond can be broken more easily because of the repulsion. So if we see the values in the table, then according to that, the highest energy required to break the bond is for chlorine-chlorine bond, then bromine and bromine, then comes fluorine, and then comes iodine. So whatever different behavior or going out of the trend, those values you have to remember, like with the electron gain enthalpy and the bond dissociation enthalpy values. Again, bond dissociation enthalpy will be related with the stability. Less is the bond dissociation enthalpy, less is the stability. More is the stability. And a molecule will be more stable if it requires more energy to break the bond. Or we can say stability is inversely proportional to the bond dissociation enthalpy. More the energy required, less is the more the energy required to break the bond, the more is it stable. Means reactivity is inversely proportional to the bond dissociation enthalpy, rather we should say, not stability. Stability is directly proportional. The reactivity is inversely proportional. More the bond dissociation enthalpy, less is the reactivity. So fluorine, it is very reactive, and iodine, it is the least reactive. So we are completing this much part in this video right now, and more about the chemical properties we'll discuss in the next class.